In this video, I'm going to show you the production system behind a multiple seven-figure personal brand from Matt Gray, Founder OS, and how he has it set up so you can also replicate the same process. If you want to start building a personal brand, the main thing you have to focus on is producing a system that's going to allow you to have time for yourself. Now, I have my own system into this entire process, but I also wanted to share with you guys the exact process that other creators like Matt Gray also uses for his Founder OS business and how he's able to set up everything for himself. Keep in mind that many mistakes that creators make, you want to make sure that you don't commit these mistakes because it's going to hinder you from progressing or improving within your business, especially when it comes to producing content. So you want to make sure you post consistently, okay? You also want to make sure that you don't waste your time editing stuff, and you want to make sure that anything that you're struggling with, okay, has to be tied in to your business in a way that even through the difficulties or the struggles, you are able to produce revenue, okay? Because then, if you think about it, you have an underlying system within the business that you can depend on, all right? This is high level creator batching when it comes to doing systems, building systems and or creating content. By systemizing whatever they need to do as a constant repetitive task and then automating the thing if they're using a software or tool, or they're delegating it if they are using certain team members like an editor, etc., or even an assistant. Now, if you have this in place, you want to follow these 5 stages for you to come up with a video production flow that allows you to produce content on a consistent basis. First of all, ideation. So you have to have something for brainstorm that constantly feeds you in order for you to keep on, basically what's going on in the market, right? Now, second, you need to understand about scripting. Have some type of structure that allows you to create compelling content, okay? It's either from data or it's basically from inspiration. So then you take that idea and then put it into a template that you normally use in order to come up with the same structure for your videos. You can tweak it certain ways sometimes, etc. But if you have a system for it, it will be easier for you to produce a result. The third thing will be the filming. I normally try to mix a lot of my filming, different scenes, different places, etc. Especially if I'm going to an exotic place or a hotel, etc. If you look at Matt Gray, he does the same. He does it more in the sense of traveling to exotic places, like go really in a secluded area of the country or countryside, etc. Because he loves to be within nature. But you may have a different feel, a different vibe, a different taste. So you might be liking hotels, you might like private jets, you might like the city or the urban area, whatever. Okay, so try to mix in between what you do with high quality, high efficiency, so that whatever you produce as a film, then you can give to your video editor, okay, to the fourth stage, which is the editing and repurposing, or you can leverage an AI software in order to produce the content for you. And once you have this in place, it's easy for you to publish and optimize because it's either being published by your editor or you are systemizing the flow for it to be editing and or publishing it at the same time for you without you having to manually do the input. The only thing probably has to come from your side or your team member side is the optimization. So looking at the stats, see where you can improve, and every time you produce, you keep improving upon what you lacked the previous time. Okay, so that would be the workflow I would recommend you guys to be able to scale. Now, the ideation part, which is the process, you want to make sure that you never run out of video ideas. In the case of Matt Gray, as a top creator, he relies on inspiration. Okay, but this is backed by data, meaning if he sees his views going down, he will see probably why is that happening. If he sees the followers go down, he will see why that's happening. Or if he sees he's not getting any leads from the videos, he will also try to see if the video has some type of, I would say, call to action in it, etc., etc. Okay, so whatever you try to do, whatever you try to build or try to film, always think about if you're looking at the stats and you're seeing it's not performing, what can you do to improve it? And this is a way that it gives you idea based on data. Okay, what you can keep on doing, doubling down on, or what you can stop and shift to another direction. Okay, so the 4 points you want to kind of think about is trending topics that you want to use, audience questions that you want to incorporate, proven performers. Okay, whatever video performs best, like double down on it. Systemize or monetize driven content. Okay, so whatever that already produced content, sorry, produce some type of sale or bookings or leads, you want to see if you can duplicate it. Okay, because if you can duplicate that, then you have two videos of which you can monetize based on the same topic, based on the same style or approach. All right, and this will increase again your revenue, your leads, your bookings, etc. Okay, now the pro tip is always keep running a database of ideas so you never hit creators roadblock, especially if you don't have data. If you're starting out, you have no data on YouTube, you have no data in your newsletter, etc. Try to come up based on the industry like competition, see what they're doing, and come up with your own version of it. So then it comes into scripting and engaging high conversion video. So here, most people make the mistake of rambling too much, but try to be more insightful. So give explanation for each thing rather than talk about your own opinion. Okay, so what I would recommend you to do is have a structure. In this case, the structure is have a hook. Okay, we capture people's attention, have a problem set up so you kind of relate to the audience pains or problems. You also talk about the solution breakdown, so you give steps what they can do and why it's important for them to do it. Then a call to action. Call to action might be leave your comments in the section, follow you, or if you want this lead magnet, check out my newsletter or sign up to my newsletter or go get this product or sign up for my workshop. So there's many different call to actions depending on what are you promoting. If you are promoting newsletter, if you're promoting your page so you can grow your page, if you're promoting more likes, more comments, blah blah blah. Okay, so that's basically the framework, and what you want to do is implement them in your shorts, in your long form, and even in your text or image posts. Okay, so that's how you can capture attention and also direct them to an area where you can then monetize them. Now, if you want high output when filming, creating your system, it says here that most creators waste time setting up and refining their takes. I don't like to do that. I would not recommend you to do that. I personally don't do it. I see also Matt Gray doesn't do it. I see many other creators don't do it. Why? Because what you want to do is try to film and progress. So as I said previously already on the first slide, when you are filming something and you see that's not performing, try to do the next one, avoiding what you did previously. Even if you perform or if you produce a video that's performing well, you still wanted to look at the data, and it's performing well, you keep improving upon it. Okay, you don't copy and paste for the next time. You keep producing some type of variation of it, because keep in mind, if it worked an angle, it probably can work different angles. So one angle might be about suffering, the other angle might be about struggling, the other angle might be a sadness, the other angle might be a lack of motivation, but all of them talk about a depressing stage or situation in solopreneurship or in your life or in business, blah blah blah. Right? So how you want to do is how to maximize your filming session is by basically blocking 1 to 2 days per week and dedicate to recording what you need to record so that you can do the variations, do different scenes, scenarios, etc. Film multiple scripts. Okay, so just don't depend on one. Try to have a mix, and then use simple recording setup. Okay, I normally again I don't use any fancy editing software. I don't use any fancy equipment or expensive equipment. I use my phone. I use my camera. In this case, as you can see here, the camera lens. Sometimes the camera lens sucks. Why? Because I might be sitting at a cafe or at an airport or something, and there's too much light, and then the camera is kind of blurry, or you can barely see myself. I don't care. I simply keep posting it. The reason I keep posting it because I don't want it to go to waste, and the information is still valuable. Either they can see me or not, because probably if they can hear me well, you guys can benefit. So therefore, I keep progressing and keep moving forward. I do not stay stuck just because I don't have a fancy gear, I don't have the fancy lens or the fancy filter, blah blah blah. Okay, so when it comes to editing and repurposing, I personally try to turn one video into multiple content pieces. Now, the key here is for you to come up with the structure within that content piece that you can share pieces and nuggets of it. So, as you already saw, based on my video right here, I basically share my video as a long form video. I also share it as a post. I also share it as a thread. And I can also take snippets, pieces of that video, and turn that into a how would you call it? Like a reel, okay? Or a short. And then you have the content on top and my face at the bottom, or vice versa, it doesn't matter. But you can turn it into multiple video pieces of content or video assets. Okay, now most people don't do this. They only create one version and they post, and then that's it. But you don't want to do that because you're hindering your own progress, and or your messaging from reaching a wider audience. Because then you have an audience for, again, the reels, you have an audience for the long form, you have an audience for the email, you have an audience for the newsletter, etc., etc. Okay, now if you can do that, turn one video into 10 pieces. Basically, you have to make sure you have the structure like I did, and I wrote down exactly where you guys can do it. So chop the long form into many different short forms, extract the key insights on a Twitter thread or LinkedIn post, use AI tools like Runway, ML, or CapCut, or 11 Labs, etc. Okay, that's how you can do it. Now, before we wrap up this, I want to give you these 2 points as well. When it comes to publishing and optimizing and scaling any growth content, you want to make sure that you implement the final step. So make sure the content actually gets seen as it already did. So I talked about Matt Gray, and many top creators use this as well as a structure. So first of all, you want to use SEO optimized titles if possible. You also want to make sure that you have content posting schedule. So make sure you have at least one content per day going out. If not, you can do more than that, 12, 2 or 3 per day. All right. You can also do cross promotions, newsletter, social media posts, etc. And you can also do engagement loops. Okay, so with this, you want to talk about shares, comments. You want to encourage people to do that. You engage with them, then you recommend them another reel, etc., etc. So, for example, sometimes people ask you a question. That question you may have already answered into a reel. Instead of you writing it, you can say, "Hey, by the way, if you want more, you can give it a short answer, but if you want more in depth, check out this reel." So within the comment, you send them to a different reel. So when people see your comment, anyone that comes to your page, they see your comment, they're like, "Oh, he has another video," and he clicks on that, and then you can see that the person is going from one reel to 2 reels to 3 reels, and it keeps going. And then they want the full understanding of all the steps. Then they go to your long form YouTube, and on the YouTube, once they consume the YouTube, then they go to your landing page or the newsletter, etc. Okay. Now, the secret to turning content into revenue is that most people post videos with no monetization strategy. Okay, but you have to focus on monetizing. Otherwise, whatever you post is going to be a waste of time. Now, you can get like and views, maybe followers. It's fine, but what does it matter if you have followers but you don't have any income coming in, any revenue stream? Okay, so in the case of Matt Gray's system, of which I learned the system from him, you want to have newsletter signups, so aim to do that. Okay, you want to also have a productive and affiliate sale. Now, if you have a product and affiliate sale, okay, that means that you're selling your own product, but also you might be selling something else that is not your product, or your own product has an affiliate as well, affiliate offer. So if you think about it for a moment, people can recommend your product, people can buy your product, or people can buy products that you recommend from someone else, from Amazon, camera gear, blah blah blah. That's just an example. And you have your own high ticket client acquisition, meaning when you attract people to you, they become buyer and they pay you more, like 5 figures or more. Okay, so sometimes some clients are really aggressive in their business and they're willing to drop 50 to 100K for a done for you service. Meanwhile, okay, but I'm talking clients like brick and mortar businesses, or clients that are earning already like a 6 figure income, and they want to expand their business and they like what you offer, etc., etc. Like it varies. If you're aiming for freelancers, solopreneur, etc., that's not going to be a budget that they are able to invest. But then you have to drop it down maybe to 1,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, etc. Okay. Now, if you have these 3 components, the newsletter, product, high ticket, then you'll be able to monetize your content, okay, the way you want. So I'm going to wrap it up and leave you guys with this. Now, if you want to build a video content system that grows your business, I highly recommend you create a high performing video content without the burnout by utilizing the system. Then you want to build a system that turns the content into clients by having call to action, having lead magnets, having landing pages, and having VSLs on the back end. What you want to do is monetize, okay, your personal and your business brand with AI powered strategies. As I told you guys, you can use make.com, use beehive.com, Notion dashboard, etc., in order for you to facilitate the person throughout the entire process. And or you can also use video editing softwares that you can utilize AI to make it faster. And the next step for you will be, in order for you to implement this, will be to go to my newsletter so that you can grow your newsletter and learn more about it. And then I will also teach you how you can monetize it. So what you can do now is just DM Nomad, or in the comment section, put the word Nomad, and I will reply you back with a exact link to do it. Or you can just go to ronaldcrew.com and // monetize, where you can see my product and you can also join me as well in the solopreneur industry, building your one person business. So appreciate it, guys. Look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care.